Welcome back, everyone. It's been a while. I've been trying to make some more videos. It's been tricky balancing all the things I have going on, but it's great to be here. If you're new here, my name is Bryan Jenks, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how I use Todoist. Todoist is my task manager of choice. It has a great interface, great feature set. It's got a lot to offer, but it's not too complicated. You don't just get lost in the weeds of the application, which is great if you have ADHD. So it makes all kinds of things super manageable. And I'm going to go through how I've set up and structured what I'm using currently, just in case you're interested or wondering how I'm approaching it. If that sounds interesting, stay tuned. So yeah, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how I use Todoist today. Lots of things have been changing and updating around here in my home. So I have lots of new things going on. I've set up a whole PoE, power over Ethernet, security camera system, and I got my server rack is all set up. I got my hypervisor going. I got my NAS storage going. I got Proxmox and TrueNAS. I got lots of Ubiquiti stuff. Things are going great. And in the future, when I have a moment to think, I'm going to be making some more content on the more nerdy stuff that I'm into, more technical things. At the moment, I don't have the bandwidth. I'm really trying to focus and finish school either this term or next term, probably next term. I'm currently working on the Udacity nano degree portion of my bachelor's degree program. So it's a lot, but at least I'm actually writing code for the class and I'm turning in projects versus being proctored and having to deal with all that. So it's a lot less stressful for me and a lot less anxiety. And then if you're wondering about the headphones, it's just to help me from being overstimulated right now. There's a lot of noise going on, so I'm just But I'm going to take you through Todoist, and hopefully you enjoy seeing how I basically manage my life, because my life is completely managed through this application. This and Morgan, which still mostly Todoist, runs my actual life. And I do pay for the pro program. It's I think it's $4 a month, and that's not bad. It's not bad at all. I've paid a lot more than that for some applications, but yeah. And if you want to support the channel as well, there is I don't know if it's a coupon code, but I have my sign up URL is in the pinned comment and the description below. So if you sign up through that, it would be really helpful. All right, let's get into the video. The best ways to support the channel are, if you're going to do it on an ongoing basis, GitHub sponsors because they take no fees, followed by Patreon. If you're going to do a one-time thing, buy me a coffee, PayPal are just fine. And if you just want to support me without any money involved, the best thing you can do is like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and that's it. All right, so diving right in. This is what Todoist actually looks like for me. I literally have every single one of my habits, my daily things I want to do, random ad hoc stuff that I add on. Everything literally lands in here. And this is usually the view I'm looking at today. What do I need to look at or care about today? So this is where I spend most of my time. And even at the beginning of the day, it'll be things like brush your teeth and stuff like that. The basics, feed the cats, whatever. Literally because even though those are things that you're probably not going to forget in the morning, I outsource everything in my head to this application. I make it so that everything that I rely upon can be found here. I don't hold anything up here. I basically just say, my brain, you don't hold to anything. You put it all in Todoist. If it's not in Todoist, you didn't need to do it, which is reinforcing for me to put everything into the application, which for my ADHD helps me manage and feel comfortable, no anxiety. I don't lose anything. I don't forget about anything. Everything, if I needed to remember it, is in Todoist. As soon as I need to remember something, I put it in there. As soon as my partner wants me to remember to do something, I put it in there. Everything is in there. If it's not in there, either nobody told me about it or it didn't need to happen. That's it. Source of truth. And that's how I treat the application. So first of all, what even is Todoist? Todoist is a task management program. That's basically it. It just manages your tasks. You can do projects, but you don't get a lot of visual GUI elements, graphical user interface, but you can actually use Todoist with other tools. I believe there is something that lets you do Gantt chart views and other stuff. Todoist has an amazing API, an application programming interface, that allows it to talk to other applications in a way that lets you really take the amazing and not overly complicated feature set of Todoist, but then leverage a lot of the other feature sets in other applications if you want to. Or if you're really super nerdy like me, I actually will be doing, I'll actually be writing code against Todoist's API and actually doing some stuff back and forth between my own personal SQL server that I've set up, again, on the server because nerdy. But it is a task manager, and there's a lot to like about it. So I'm going to tell you what I really like about Todoist. So probably one of my top favorite things I love about Todoist is simply the quick capture modal. So I have it mapped. I have a Mac keyboard that I'm currently working on. And so I use, I believe it's Option Command A, or that might even just be the default. But Option Command A will actually open up this little modal. It's a little pop-up thing here. Now I can just hit escape, close it away, do it, press the hotkey again, press the hotkey again. It doesn't go away with that, I guess. But this lets me easily and quickly type out any tasks that I want, give it quick assignments of things, and just shoot it off. So I can easily get my tasks just in Todoist. And then I'm done. I can quickly capture my idea and then move along. Because again, all I need to know is that everything landed in here. That's it. That's all I need to know. So by default, it doesn't actually send it to my today view because it doesn't have a due date. It just sends it to the inbox. And you could use the inbox, but because I have lots of reoccurring tasks, the inbox is kind of busy for me and I don't want to look at it because look at that number, 150. That's a lot of overwhelm happening. So what I do is I usually just start with, today, and I'll get into this feature in a bit. And it lets you actually add this to your today view because you can tag it with pieces of metadata. So I can say today, remember to make the Todoist video. Bam, hit enter, task is fired, here it is. It's already sitting in Todoist. And I don't even need to have Todoist on this screen. I could be on a completely different screen here and say, okay, I'm doing stuff, I want to remember something. Okay, bam, Todoist. Today, so it pops up on the screen in my today view. Remember on another screen. It still works. Okay, and if we go back to the prior screen where Todoist actually was, it is there. So you can do this anywhere on your system. As long as Todoist is actually running, this hotkey will let you fire off a task from a modal anywhere. And I'm pretty sure that it also does work on Windows because I also put it on, I think, my work machine too to help me do my work-related tasks or remind me to keep me on track throughout the day. But this works on cross-platform. You can use this modal, and it's so amazing for quick capture. Now, continuing on, you saw me actually type today, and it lit up, and like, what was all that about? So Todoist has some really awesome stuff. Now, they have a very easy way of quickly adding little pieces of metadata that will help you sort, filter, prioritize, break down, and organize your tasks according to a variety of different things, labels, projects, or different priorities, and the timeframes of which these things are due in. And it's really easy and convenient to type these things, especially in the quick capture modal, which just makes it even more of a breeze to do. And we have, I believe it's 4 different types of things that you can actually add in. So let's check those out. So you saw me already add the actual time frame. I can say today, and it will actually add it to my today view. But there's all the other things we can do. So I can say 3 days from now, which is Tuesday, because today is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 3 days from now. What this is NLP. If you've not heard of that before, it's natural language processing. It's letting you speak normal words the way that you would to describe time, and it will actually pick up on that and then understand when a task is due. So I could say 3 days from now at 7 a.m.? No, p.m. There we go. So now it's saying Tuesday at 7 p.m., 3 days from now, that I can just type natural language as if I'm just talking about something I need to do in casual conversation. Really awesome to deal with due dates. But I am going to leave it to today so you can see what some other stuff looks like. Next thing we have is priority. Now Todoist has 4 different types of priority, P1, 2, 3, and then 4, which is just your default normal. And you'll see what these different things look like. So I'll say 1 is P1, Okay, we'll fire off that task. Today, and today, and we'll say P2. You can start seeing these appear and see what they're looking like. Today, 3, P3. And then finally, we'll just do today 4, P4. Now, you don't have to explicitly say P4 because everything defaults to that. But there you go. So what you can see is that 1, 2, 3, and 4 here have different color circles. Now, when you actually give them different priorities like this, you can see I actually have some priority 1 things here. You can actually sort them. You can group by priority or any of these other things, because this is also part of the interface, is to be able to group things and sort them. So inside of my groups, I could say group by priority. Okay, so now we have all the priorities. These are all things that are priority 4. So I've grouped them, but now inside of those groups, I want to sort. Let's sort them based on due date. Okay, and so April 22nd, today, earlier this morning, and then just today, those are sorted. These are all sorted by time as well. You can see the times. There you go. And you could also order them ascending, descending, and you can even assign, is that a sort, or is that a, I don't know. I don't assign anything to anybody. It's only for me. But you have the ability to slice and dice and see these different items in priority. Now, let's go back to default. Yes. So what you can also do is filters and labels. So we'll get into labels in a bit. But filters, you can actually then say, I want to see all tasks in the entire system that are priority 1. We could do that, and then bam, here's all the priority 1 tasks in my entire Todoist account, everything. And so this can further help you look at and investigate your tasks. I could then sort by and group by, say different projects, which is also helpful because then I can say I want to see all top priority items, but only from 3 projects, so I can just quickly put them into those 3 projects and now look at all those tasks. Really awesome. So that's priority. Now I mentioned labels, and I really love the satisfying sound of checking off these tasks. Let's get rid of that. Okay. And get rid of that one. So now I mentioned projects and labels. So we're going to talk about those. What are projects? Projects are just what you think. It's a container for tasks. Now I have a bunch of projects over here for all different kinds of stuff that I'm doing and that I have going on. Now this is a lot of stuff to constantly be checking, which is where those filters and things come in, as well as labels, which I'll get into next. So if I want to look at something like my project for my home server, okay, whoa, a Kanban view, we'll get into that too soon. Hold on. So we actually have tasks inside of this project, and I have different lanes. I could also change the view back to normal, and now I can see, okay, different sections. These are also arbitrary sections. You can make however many and whatever you want them to be, but I can also give them tags. I can create tasks and put them into projects. If they have a due date, then they might actually be on today as well, or just in the inbox. Inbox is like its own weird project, so if it doesn't have a project, it's in the inbox. But these actually let you group your tasks into relevant contexts, projects, all the tasks related to a specific thing here. This is really useful, but also labels. Labels are really, really awesome. So if we look at back to filters and labels, I can collapse filters, and you can see I have a lot of labels. What is all this? So labels really just kind of let you do that filter or grouping in a way. And really this works by actually having I put them in favorites because otherwise you actually have to come in here and then click on them. But this gives you a detailed view of only the things that have those labels. So it's kind of like your P1, P2, the priority. Only want to see priority 1 items. Same thing for labels. So you can do that, and you can also do, if say you want to see something that has 2 labels, it has to have both of them, you can make a custom filter in here, your custom filter, and you can actually create your own thing and actually have a filter query of whatever labels that you want it to have. I don't really do too many custom filters because I kind of have enough of a system going on that I'm good. But if I edit this filter, this is the only one I made, you can see the syntax is kind of interesting. Priority 1 and today. So I would have to go and refresh myself on the syntax, but it's relatively simple and straightforward. You don't need to get super complex with these queries here for the filters. But doing this actually lets me look at the items that I have on my plate. And so I can look at, let's just say, biz. And then I can say, wow, that's a lot of stuff. But these are all things that have biz tagged on it. And you can see I'm also kind of borrowing something a little bit from Dendron, where I'm grouping by biz or biz dot and doing a dot hierarchy of this. Not because it sorts anything in here, but just because it's starting to make sense to me that dot hierarchy paradigm of organization actually is starting to make more sense to me in a lot of ways. So this is how I'm using my labels. And if you're curious about Dendron and what that even means, I have a whole video about it on my channel. But let's dive into what I'm actually doing for my labels, because we've talked about all the things you can tag. And just a quick demonstration of tags is if I go to back to today, and I open a modal, and I can say today, the MLP date time stuff. In the project, I'm going to say just inbox because I just want to keep it simple. And I want to give it the tag of biz, and I'm going to give it the priority 1. I can just do P1. And then I say, here is my task. Awesome. And all of that is with very, very minimal syntax. So I can click on that, look at these details. Look at these amazing details. It's in the project inbox. It's due today. It's priority 1. It's got that label. Here's the task. And even then, you can even add more. It's because once I finish typing my task, I can hit tab and I can actually type a description. Here is a relevant description. And there you go. Bam, shoot that off. Oh wait, Command Enter if you're in the description area. And you can see it actually has a description of the item. You can add subtasks. After you've created it, you can add subtasks, or you can even just add comments. Comments where you can actually tag other people. I think it's the same syntax. I don't tag people, so I don't even know how the feature works because I don't do it. You can insert emojis. You can actually record audio for audio clips. You can add attachments. So I've added videos. I've added images, things that I need to look back at. Really, really useful. And you can add, that's new, reminders. They must be working on some beta features. Labels, awesome stuff. So this is simply amazing. And this is a lot of really juicy stuff you can do with these tasks. It's a lot, but it's not too much. It's not overly complicated. It's not like a whole system you need to set up and configure. It actually does have a somewhat opinionated way of doing things, but with enough flexibility that you can get a lot done without getting lost in the details, which is why it's so perfect for me. A little bit of graphical stuff too, but not too much. It's a perfect balance. Now, one thing I also mentioned was the Kanban view and other views. So if I go back to my home server here, you can see I made these arbitrary, sections, and I can create, add section, and these are only in projects. So you have to have a project, and then you can actually add a section. And once you do that, you can, toggle between the Shift V, and now you actually have a Kanban view where you can drag across and do whatever. You can change your views as needed. But also within these projects is the ability to email tasks to this project, which is incredibly awesome. And all you have to do is, you click that, and here is what you do. This little email address here, you can just say, copy text, click, copy to keyboard, save that, and you could actually treat that as a contact for a particular board. And now any task you email to that email address gets automatically converted into a task. So if you don't have access to something, or you're behind a firewall or whatever, what I've done is even my locked down government work machines is you can just send an email to this email account. The subject is the actual task. The body is the description, and actually be as a comment. So, and you can even still use your NLP dates and other things and labels, priority, all this stuff as they describe here, and just send emails and have those things added to the project, just like that. So that is another great form of quick capture if you have something like Outlook. What is it? The quick steps. Outlook quick steps, or you have like a quick command line script to send email or something, like any of these things. Just send it there, and bam, done. Just sending your task via email. Really, again, just another useful feature within these projects, and even like a calendar feed. That's that. I don't even know if I've ever used that, so that's still interesting. But we also, and I don't have an example because I don't really do this too much, is you can actually import from a template. So you can export a Todoist project, how you have it laid out, into an external flat file and import that back in as a template. So you can spin up projects based on templates at will. This is also kind of a useful thing that I've done at work with Azure DevOps and all the work items, because that's a hassle to deal with creating a bunch of stuff. Is this quick import from template file is incredibly useful. Just import a flat file. There's all your templated tasks in a brand new project. Makes it really easy to just hit the ground running, make some projects, and get some work done, especially when you start working in things like into the API, which is just beautiful. Their API is awesome. I'm honestly just too lazy to set it up to actually put my phone screen on the actual monitor screen to show you. But one also really cool tip that I did for a while before it got it annoying because I fidget too much and I would inadvertently trigger it too often, is in the accessibility settings of, if you have an iPhone, in the accessibility settings, you can actually set up a back tap feature. So if you tap the back of your phone like 2 times or 3 times, you can set what actions occur. And so what I did is I made a shortcut in the Shortcuts app to actually fire off a Todoist modal on my phone. So it would actually ask me for the task. And so what it would do is I would tap, tap, tap. It would then fire off the shortcut, which then opens up the modal for Todoist to make a task, and then prompt me for audio so I could just dictate my task verbally. It would then make that task for today and automatically add it to my list. So in that way, I could easily quick capture if I'm like driving in the car. All I need to do is tap, tap, tap. Done. And you could also just leave that shortcut on the home screen of your phone. So if you have it like mounted in the car, and you could just say, oh, poke, and then bam, you're done. You're just talking, and it only takes a fraction of a second. I don't advise doing that because I think I have to say that to stay legally good, whatever. But that is an option, and it's incredibly convenient. Now, I fidget too much, and I take this thing off because I have MagSafe, and it just, because I fidget, it doesn't work for me anymore. But it's a very useful tip to quick capture even more of your tasks. Just triple back tap, done, fire it off. So for all you tech people like me who are really interested in this type of stuff, Todoist has a great API. It's really easy to use. I'm pretty sure I've messed around with it at one point and sent myself some tasks. I still need to build out my own little project thing for it so I can actually work with my own SQL Server and do some middleware, make some middleware between those things, because that way I can have all the tasks and data on my own server as well for my own analytical reporting for myself, because I am a big freaking nerd and that's just the way I want to live my life. But Todoist has a great API. Now, they actually have their API on GitHub, and it's under the Doist is the company, Todoist is the product, and they have this Python API, which, look at that, it's not even complicated. Very simple authentication. And not to tangent too far off into ADHD distracted land, is I have literally fought with so many other services on getting authentication, especially with OAuth 2 authentication. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, just let me vent for a second. Authentication is a pain in the butt, especially if the documentation about it for that particular app or service is crap, which I have had several instances of that, which have really annoyed me, both professionally and personally. I've wasted so much time just trying to figure out how to authenticate with someone's stupid app. So this is awesome because they give you an example of how to authenticate your token. All you really need to know is get your token, which on their website, super easy. It's not difficult. Todoist, again, just makes life simple. Thank you. End tangent. But here is the actual API, and they give you a little bit of documentation here. I'm sure there's more documentation around somewhere or just around things, but this is the interface for their API. So you could actually probably get some help features, but I haven't looked in this too heavily because I don't have the time. But oh yeah, there. Read the README, Bryan. Documentation. For more detailed API documentation with Python examples. Okay, I have to look. I have to look because the nerd in me is not going to sit still. And not only do they give you, actually give you documentation, but oh my god, look at that. They give you not only the actual code example, sending a request, a token, project equals get projects, print your projects, and so you can find your project and then start to build your request, add new, oh my gosh, they give you examples in Python, they show you the sample output, they can even give it to you with curl if you're going to do it on the command line, or JavaScript if you're a web developer. See, this is how you do documentation. If you're ever going to do anything techie, this is how you do API documentation. This is why I love Todoist. You guys are awesome. Look at this documentation. The nerd in me is so very happy. So this is great. But even just beyond having to build your own solution from scratch, there's already great stuff like this. I have this bookmarked, but I'm probably going to build my own because, again, nerd. But this user made a whole CLI application for Todoist. As if you knew me before on my old content, I did Task Warrior a lot, which is CLI only. And it's, there are some other features too, but CLI. And I love being on the command line doing stuff. And so Todoist on the command line, oh my gosh, awesome. So heck, I might even just fork this project and work from there. Probably not because I want to build it from scratch because I'm a nerd. But this is, you have options. Their API is so friendly. Their documentation is incredible. You could have a blast making your own little tech project with Todoist just by using their API. It's awesome. Another thing I really like is just the very simple hotkeys too in Todoist. It's so very convenient. Bottom right, or actually sorry, here, center, that's what I'll put it, is it'll show you my keys. But I can do things like toggle on the sidebar and like no mouse. Toggle on the sidebar, M for menu. I can go back to my today view with H for home is how I think about it. I can then do my quick capture modal of Option Command A, and then there's the modal. Escape to close it. And then I can also search, I think it's with /. Yeah, / to search. And I can find something. So home server and then arrow key, enter, and it actually takes me back to a project. Awesome. Really awesome. I'm sure there's even more. I just don't really use much more of the hotkeys than that, but it's just really, really convenient. But that's the hotkeys I wanted to quickly about. But more about how I actually have Todoist laid out. I have my favorite labels over here, and I only have a particular few here that actually are for organization. The other ones are more for just like categorically organizing things, but it's more like metadata for me than actually organization. So what I do is I have my today view, which if my computer stops lagging, thank you. I have my today view, which is really just my itinerary, what I'm doing in a day, organized by timeline, and I go through these things and check them off and do them. Now, if I add things like quick capture and I don't add a particular time to it, then what I tend to do is I just get a bunch of these blanks at the bottom, which is usually like quick things that I knock out. And yeah, and so they don't really get a time because I don't need to put in that much effort for them. Quick capture, get it done because it's a quick thing. So this is usually what my today view looks like. Some things, I don't get to, or I add it here so it's top of mind. Even though it's like overdue, it's still just here so I can follow up on it or then schedule it. And when I schedule things, I use Morgan, and I can, you've probably seen some of my older videos. If not, go check out the older videos. I think my last one also covered this in ADHD Tools, is Morgan has a Todoist integration where you can drag Todoist tasks from a Morgan interface onto the calendar as time blocks that can then be completed. And if you complete them in Morgan, it completes them in Todoist because their API is awesome. So when I have these tasks and I want to actually time block them, I will also tag them with Morgan, so I know that because if you just drag it into Morgan, then in Todoist, they just look exactly the same. Nothing in Todoist changes. It's like a one-way thing unless you complete them. So if I drag this onto the calendar and did stuff with it, but it's not complete yet, I need to know that I've already done that so I don't just complete it because I know it's on the calendar, which is what I used to do. It's on the calendar, so I can remove it from here because it's on the time block. No, if you're going to do the time block tasks and whatever, I tag it as Morgan so I know to leave it alone. It's on the time block. If I complete it there, it will be completed here. So don't touch it. That's what Morgan is. As you can see, I don't have anything there. That's fine. I also will just sometimes just clear them out by putting them onto Morgan and then just removing them from here to clean up the interface and make myself feel mentally decluttered because I don't want to get overwhelmed, which happens. The rest of these info is literally just what it is. It's literally the documentation for myself of how I use the system. Labels, and then I have projects, which describe to me how I'm using my projects, how I'm using priority, how I'm using like the different rules for myself on how to manage my projects and the things. And so this is just information for me on how to manage my system. Meta. I really should just call this meta, but I just call it info. It's fine. And then the rest of these are really just like, kind of like Kanban, really. Focus is literally like the highest priority things that I'm trying to do. So like this video is one of them. And you can also see it separated by project. Doing, backlog, pending. Doing is like things that, like, these are the next things that are up on my plate. Things that I need to be doing, that I am doing, that it might not just be the focus priority. And backlog is just stuff I want to do by project or priority. And pending is stuff that I'm holding off on. I'm waiting for it, or I would need other input, or it's got dependencies that are in either of these categories. So that's really how I really break down across projects, because doing these different labels, I can show it by project. So I can focus on, okay, today I'm making YouTube videos. Here's YouTube, focus. Doing would be like the next YouTube videos. And then I group by project so I can find them easily. That's how I'm using labels. And then I also just have my categorical ones that I can track of, so I can say at a glance, what are my daily habits? Weekly, monthly, once a year things, etc. And then just general things. So this is and how I'm using my labels. Projects, I use them as projects. Like I literally will group things together here. And so home server, I have different items to do. I need to make a book inventory list in my SQL Server as a table. I need to follow up on some things I want to do with my SQL Server, because those notes are in Dendron. And I need to set up Plex on my NAS instead of on my Raspberry Pi, and I can repurpose the Raspberry Pi to do some other nerdy stuff. And then, retrofitting my garage gym, returning to Arch Linux, some stuff I want to do for my custom build. Yeah, just grouping by projects. And projects labels, that's pretty much the bulk of it, which is, again, it's amazing because it's got a lot to offer, but it doesn't overcomplicate things. It's beautiful. And that's pretty much how I use this system. I use it every day. I use it all day. And it keeps me on track, in line, productive, and getting actual things done. And there's also this incentive of Todoist karma. I don't pay attention to it at all because I just click to get things out of my face sometimes, which that's fine. But they do, if you do care about it, they have like a reward system for productivity if you complete tasks, and they show you this stuff and, whatever. Like this it doesn't mean anything to me, but this is something that you can also leverage to gamify your tasks. So that's really useful and fun too. But yeah. Okay, last thing I'm going to mention before I close out the video, because I'm sure I've talked at length and too long and just gushing about what I love about their stuff. But Todoist also has really amazing pricing. Like you'd expect this to be like a lot of other apps these days where it's going to cost you $10, $15 a month. They're going to give you a pricing model where, like, if you pay by year, it's $12 a month for $144, billed all at once just to use a task management application. What I love about them is that they have a free model, and it's not bad. Like, it's actually really not bad for most people. If you want to do a little bit more with it, you're going to have to pay a little bit of money, because, it's a proprietary service. But it's not expensive at all. It's amazing. So if I show you the prices, like if you want 5 projects, up to 5 collaborators per project, wow. So basically a team, up to 5 megabyte file uploads, 3 filters that you can make, and activity history, but that's not bad for free. Now, I pay for Pro for mostly just 2 things, but also, like, look at that price. So you could pay $36 now or $4 a month. I don't know why I actually pay monthly. I use this app religiously. I should just upgrade to that. Anyways, $36, like, I literally spend more than that on lunch with my partner sometimes. So not bad at all. 300 projects, 25 collaborators per project. So that's like how many? 7,500 potentially unique collaborators across 300 projects. That's really awesome. Now, 100 megabyte file uploads, 150 filters, reminders. That must be a new feature. I don't remember that one, but that's awesome. Unlimited activity history, themes, and auto backups. So I pay for Pro for mostly 2 reasons. Well, 3, I guess. 5 projects? No, I want more. So projects. Now, if I upload a high quality photo just because I copied it from somewhere to paste into a task to give me inspiration or remind me about something, this comes in handy. 100 megabit or megabyte file uploads. That's helpful. And it looks like that's where they cap it because they don't up the size here and they say everything in Pro. So it looks like you're just capped at 100 megabytes, so that's fine. But filters, I don't use them enough to really, okay, whatever. But themes, dark mode. You saw mine, I have dark mode. It's not their normal one, which is like red and white, kind of like the bear theme. You use the bear note-taking app. So this is what I use. I use Pro, and just a simple question. Do I think it's worth it? Yeah, I do. I've paid since the beginning. It's such a great app. It has so much utility. It works on every platform: phone, Windows, Linux, Mac, command line stuff because API. It's literally used everywhere. You can use it everywhere. They have shortcuts already made for the Shortcuts app. It's $3 or $4 monthly. Not bad. I really like it. I paid since the beginning. So this video is not sponsored by them. I do have their affiliate program, but it's not sponsored by them. This is literally just how I really like this application. If you want to support the channel further and you do sign up for Pro, or even if you don't, I'll leave my link in the pinned comment and the description. Signing up costs you nothing extra. It just helps me out. But I love this application. Hopefully you will too. So I hope you enjoyed this video and more of my gushing about Todoist and their amazingness. And hopefully I was able to show you something, teach you something that you might be able to use for yourself if you use the application, and hopefully you try it out and like it. I mean, it's risk and commitment free trial. I don't even think you have to enter a credit card when you sign up for the app, which is another big one. I hate that. Don't you hate that? I don't want to give you my credit card and then be charged if I forget. In my opinion, that's a predatory pricing model, and I hate that shit. So I don't think they do that. Just try the application. See if you like it. If you want to upgrade to Pro because you want a little bit more, do it. I say it's worth it. It's worth it to me. It's never been an issue of price for me because it's not even expensive. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Shout out and thank you to all the Patreons and sponsors, patrons, and sponsors that support this video. I really appreciate all your support, especially as I've been a little bit slower on video production because I just have so much going on. I'm trying to finish school. So I greatly appreciate your continued support and patience. And as always, the best place to support is GitHub sponsors because they don't take any fees. Well,